joining with me, we have one more conversation to have: the complexity of marriage. Marriage. I know, it's a big one. You see, marriage can be both a reflection of the divine, but at the same time, a space for growth. It carries this weight, part sacred, part human. It's often spoken about as a reflection of something that is divine, like divine love, and I believe that. But it's also messy, imperfect, full of different edges that press against each other. I used to think that marriage was a kind of a rival, not in the sense of the ultimate accomplishment or value or anything like that, but more of the moment where love becomes secure, safe, and settled. But now I see it differently. Marriage is not a stillness, it's a constant movement. It's about two people growing together, sometime together, like I said, but sometime at different pace. They will choose again and again to keep walking side by side. There is beauty in that, but again, it's also tension. Because the truth is, love, when it lasts, it doesn't just comfort us, it also shapes us. Now, when we talk about marriage from a biblical standpoint, that will be as a covenant, not just as a contract. You see, marriage, as it is presented in the Word of God in the Bible, it's not described as a contract, something that is legal or something that can be torn up when it's no longer suiting the parties involved. It's a covenant. It's something that it's a holy promise. It's a bond that people have between them, but that also God is braided into the center of that union. So that kind of language feels heavy, I know, and it should, because a covenant isn't based on performance or convenience. It's about faithfulness. It's about staying when it's hard. It's about the other not just being there for you today, but it's to choose to be there constantly and becoming something with you. I think of Hosea in the Bible and the relentless love that he was asked to show. I think also in the book of Ephesians, where love in the setting of marriage is described as a self-giving, sacrificial, reflecting the love that Christ has for the church. So it's not just romance as the world defines it. It's more than that. It's deeper than that. Sometimes it's quieter. Sometimes it's harder. Sometimes it's not what's being presented in the world. But I will tell you, it's real. It is really real. And it will test your beliefs. It will test your philosophy. And it will test the things that sometimes you've been presented in the world. It is more than what we see. Now, when we talk about marriage and we talk about sacrifice, sometimes we have a hard time to navigate through the expectations when it comes to love and marriage. Love and sacrifice walk together. They have to be together. So when they come together, I know it feels almost poetic. I know it feels almost like a romance novel, but listen, it is reality. Love and sacrifice are friends. They walk together, especially in the setting of marriage. Marriage breeds unspoken and unexpected expectations. Who will show up? Who will compromise? Who will bend? And what happens when we both feel like we've bent too far? You see, there is this constant tension between what someone may dream and what they're actually living, between what we expect and what we actually experience or what actually happens. So in this novel, you will see that I try not to make love this perfect thing, because especially when we talk about long-term love, I don't want to idolize it and make it almost look unreal. I wanted to show how real connection requires letting go of fantasy. It sometimes requires you to choose and to continue to choose what you know you're supposed to be. So it's not perfect. It's not easy. but it's intentional. We desire to grow in it. So there is sacrifice in that. Not the kind of sacrifice that makes you completely forget who you are or erases who you are, but it's the kind of sacrifice that will stretch you. And that's for real, that's the truth. It will stretch you. It will make you go places that maybe you didn't think you could go before. The kind of sacrifice that says, I see you and I'm still here. I still see your imperfections, I still see your weakness, but I choose to still be here. And I think that is where marriage, or I should say love, becomes something deeper than just desiring. When marriage becomes something deeper than just a romantic relationship. So as we are talking about marriage, you will see the constant tension about the becoming and the choosing to become together. We have that choice to choose each other every single day as we are evolving and we are growing. So, are we prepared to choose love, even when it requires to go for something that we didn't imagine or we didn't anticipate? I think we love the idea of love. And I think Hollywood has done a fantastic job to present us love in a way that we admire and we seek and we long for. We love the idea of love. But what happens when love demands more than what we thought we wanted to give? What happens when love is asking for more than what we sign up for? When love is asking for more patience? When love is asking for more time? When love is asking for more grace? When love is asking for more humility? What do you do when love is asking you for all those things that sometimes you're not even willing to give to yourself or giving to people that you hang out with, but love is demanding that? What do you do when love is asking you for forgiveness for something that you are not willing to give? Forgiveness, we're never ready to offer it. And maybe forgiveness is what we need to ask for. But what do we do at that point when love is asking for more? So we sometimes love this idea of love until we are asked to actually love. Then we start discovering that love might be more than what we think. And within the setting of marriage, it is the same. Marriage, sometimes we love this idea of marriage. The idea of the party, the dress, the dinner, the banquet, the honeymoon, the trip, the looking good, the pictures, the dinner together, the walking in the park, the partnership. We love this idea of what love has been, marriage has been presented to us. But what do you do when marriage now starts to ask for more, ask for things that you're not willing to do? So there is something sacred in those moments. Though they are hard, though they can be quiet sometimes, when staying in your marriage feels like work, when showing up feels like you are surrendering more than what you signed up for, that's where the covenant lives. Because any contract stops whenever you feel like it doesn't suit you anymore. The covenant starts when it's no longer something that you want, but now you're trusting the covenant, you're trusting the divine of marriage. And at that moment, you decide to show up and still surrender. And that's where, like I said, that covenant comes alive. Not in the perfect days, not when all things are great, but when things are hard, but you are still intentional and constant in your choice of showing up for each other. So maybe that's what marriage really is at its core. It's not just a destination, like we watch in movies, like I said, or read in those fairy tales, stories. But really, marriage is a daily decision. It's not just to be loved, but it's also to return love. It's to love back. Because I think all of us enjoy being loved, but are we willing to love back? Are we willing to really see the person we're with and love them for who they really are, and not love them for the idea of them in us? So it's a daily decision, not just to be loved, but to also love, especially when it will cost you something. So in Gate 7, yes, we talk about marriage. There is a topic of marriage. We explore it quite a bit. And I think as an author, as I was listening to the journey of those characters, I was witnessing their lives being transformed their lives being changed by the power of love that was rising. But then, because of covenant and because of promises, tough questions started to rise. Tough questions about how they felt, questions about love's endurance, about unmet expectations, about whether two people can still walk together even though their path may start to diverge, or their love come to a challenging point where their love now starts to even challenge their choices or the resolutions that they've made. So the story doesn't offer easy answers, and you'll see. It doesn't offer easy way out. But what it does, though, maybe it brings out the point, which is that sometimes those questions themselves are where growth actually starts. It's not meant to answer questions, but sometimes those tension in the story, the tension that the characters are experiencing, are meant to introduce some questions to ourselves so we can evaluate where we are, understand how we understand marriage, and also be able to ascertain the root of our definition of marriage, the root of how we define it or how we see it and how we are hoping for it. So I tremendously appreciate you hanging with me throughout all this time, talking about those amazing themes that will be explored in my upcoming novel. I hope that after you read it, after you see how those characters have grown from the first time they met until the end of the story, that you get to also ask yourself some questions and maybe have some meaningful conversations. So thank you, and stay tuned for more.